Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Pullze Check podcast. Today, we got a special one for you, man. Today, we'll be going over Esports World Cup, the $1 million tournament, I guess $60 million tournament that we went to and was absolutely crazy. It was a rebirth tournament. Unreal, literally fucking unreal, and I hope you guys are ready for it, man. But before we begin, as you know, we got the guests today, the boys, right? We got Mr. Ebatez over here, we got Rampage, and we got my boy Krinkz, man. Boys, y'all ready? Y'all excited for today?
Oh, I'm ready.
Yeah,
let's go, baby.
All right, man. We got a lot going on. We got a lot going on for the day, chat. Let's kind of start off and kind of go over, guys. We're back from Riyadh, and today you're good, puppy. You're good. And chat. So. Riyadh, what is Esports World Cup? I guess let's start off with that, man. Let's start off with that. Esports World Cup, guys, is a $60 million tournament, bro. Damn. $60 million tournament.
A lot.
That is composed of, I believe, 22 games and like 20 orgs or something like that. And each game competes in a tournament for a certain amount of points. If you get first, you get 1,000 points, second, 600, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? At the end of 8 weeks, there is an org that is crowned the champion, and they get $7 million, right? Damn. So I won't get into the details and all that stuff, but for the most part, the first pretty much game that was announced, or not announced, but that was played was Warzone, and that's what we went to go watch. And low key, hey, was lit. It was $1 million for the Warzone section, and it was composed of 21 teams got flown out to Saudi Arabia across the world, Riyadh, and they competed. It was absolutely insane. It was an amazing time, and that's pretty much it, man. There was a bunch of stages, which I guess we'll get into, and I mean, we'll go from here, chat. Yeah. It was absolutely fucking crazy. It was absolutely fucking crazy,
without a doubt, bro.
You know, so. I mean, let's kind of break it down. Let's break down the way it worked, and let's do the format. So, guys, the first format was composed of solos. It was a solo tournament. It was solo seeding stages, and the way that worked was it is a trios tournament, right? Yeah. But those trios were split into 3 groups, right? Let's just use Falcons as an example. Diaz went to A group, Soka went to B group, Shifty went to C group, right? A played B, A played C, and then B played C, right? So everybody played each other once. From there, the way you played in that stage determined where you sit and where you kind of fed off of into the next stages, which are group stages. So real quick, I'm pretty sure we have the leaderboard for for the solo stage, and we'll look at that.
Oh,
real quick, bro.
Like who got the most kills and everything?
Yep.
Beautiful.
All right, man, guys. So the overall rankings and the overall leaderboard for the solos was as follows. And I'll go over, let's say the top 5, right? So we had Mr. Smitty with 32 eliminations and 48.7 points. Smitty, day 1, went absolutely insane, man. In second, we had Vision with 44.8 and 33 elims. My man Vision was cooking that day. Breadman, as you guys know, he's very good at solos. In third with 27 kills, 44.7 points. Batsuka ending day 1 with the most amount of eliminations and 44.6 points. And then to round up the top 5, Oki, 27 kills, 43 points, man. I guess AJ in 6th place, Allman 7th place, Levi 8th place, Aiden 9th place, and Dongi in 10th place, guys. So this was solos. It was pretty much, I guess, Ebatez, you kind of want to talk about the way solos was and how that played out?
Yeah, so the solos, basically, obviously, it was individual skill or individual points, but they were kind of added up as a trio. So there were some trios that were in the game together. So like, for example, when Shifty and Soka were playing in their individual groups, they were in the game together. Obviously, they weren't playing together, but it was a little weird, different. And I actually kind of enjoyed it. I felt like it gave players a day to kind of get used to the setups, get the nerves out a little bit so that they could really lock in for the trios. I think the one thing that I wish happened was like that maybe there was like a prize pool or something for the solos, or like maybe whoever got like the top fragger, I think would have been cool. I think initially they talked about doing the top fragger as like a 50K. So like Smith would have gotten 50K, which would have been cool. So maybe give like some kind of prizing so there's like some meaning behind it and people aren't just kind of like playing whatever. But no eliminations in that round. So it was kind of just like people playing together and getting their points and figuring out what kind of group seeding they were going to get.
Okay. Mr. Krinkz, How did you kind of feel about the solos on the first day?
I think it was a good change of pace, having all the solos playing together. Obviously, we saw a couple, as Ebatez was saying, we had a couple teams being at the same lobby, and then possibly like going against each other and just killing each other, But I think it was a good experience as a viewing experience. It was fun to watch. I like how they extended it like one day to a different day, just separating it from the actual group play.
Right.
So I enjoyed the solos, and I think it was a good idea to bring it into the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, I personally think that is amazing because obviously going back to like you're warming up into a new setup. You're used to like obviously in people know that there's like the Art of War sauce, which is pretty much I think is insane. I think it's very insane. So obviously not gonna be able to have that on land. You're playing on a 1440p monitor, but you're going to land with a 1080. So like some people kind of struggle to adapt. So I think that's very amazing. And on top of that, just being able to like just venture out and just see what you can do.
Well, we're talking about solos.
Yeah. So I was talking about.
I'm confused. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
So like, are you saying like that?
I think I was just saying like it's pretty much really good just to like warm up. And
Okay,
just,
that's
like,
what you're saying. Okay,
yeah,
I was
much.
confused as like,
Yeah.
because you forgot to say that it's good to warm up. Like you said the reasoning without saying why. You know what I'm saying? So he meant that. He meant that, guys. The solo stage is good because it allows people to warm up for the rest of the tournament.
Yeah. Yeah. That thing.
Right. So like, okay, I agree with you. I agree with you that a lot of people's nerves, a lot of people that gets to them, and eventually like doing something like that. Let's say Dongy, he had one day, and everybody judged him for one day the entire tournament
he did
based on
pretty
that.
good. Yeah.
You know, so off last year's World Series, so the solos helped them warm up. Me personally, I will say there's probably a better way to do it. I think if anything I didn't like about EWC was the format itself. I think it definitely could be improved by a lot more. And I think they could hopefully next year make it a lot better. I don't mind it being Resurgence. I think it's great because it adds the potential to bring more people in. It was a 4-day LAN. I think that was great. That shit was lit. Low key, I think EWC sticks to Resurgence. World Series Warzone sticks to BR. I do think that's probably the best case scenario, and I do like it. I just think there needs to be a change in format. But my opinion, solos, didn't really like it. To kind of summarize, was it my favorite thing, right? So let's move on to the next one, right? And so after solos, you were put into group stages. You were put into groups A, groups B, and group C.
Yeah.
So group A played group B, group A played group C, then B played group C, right? Each team, everybody got to play each other once. And so there was 2 days of group stages, and the day 1 and day 2. So I guess day 2 and day 3 were composed of group stages. So each team got to battle it out. And this, I'm gonna be honest, solos didn't really matter. Solo stages were literally not important at all. The solo stages had nothing to do, like, honestly, it was just a warm-up day. It was, and group days 2 and 3 were really the important parts, right? It was to find out who makes it to finals, who makes it to championship Saturday, right? So you had 2 days, and there was a master leaderboard. Your score was cumulative. I don't know how to pronounce that.
Like you could say like you could say aggregate.
Aggregate?
Yeah.
Sure, agriculture. Chat. So you combined the 2 day scores, and it put you in a master leaderboard. And since there's 21 teams were flown out, top 14 teams qualified for finals, right? So starting day 1, I will say things got interesting. Things were definitely interesting day 1. Let's go ahead and look at how day 1 looked like. So after day 1, this was the leaderboard. And the reason why I say this was interesting is because Shifty, Soka, and Diaz played dog shit. Like, I'm going to be honest. This was the team going into this tournament that was expected to win everything. And they came out day 1, played horrible in solos. Then day 1, played bad. And it was weird to see them in first after day 1. And what's crazy is I talked to them after, and even they said, yo, we play like shit. I don't even know how we're in first. So, I mean, guys, this was the general leaderboard after day 1. Falcons was in first place, 97 points. Allman Noob Skull was in second. Fanatics, these guys played insane. Phenomenal day 1. Only down 10 points. Remember, so day 1 and 2 are combined. So when starting day 2, they just combined the scores and they start off day 2 with this, right? Abwiz, Oki, Prodigy. That was a team that no one expected. I mean, I don't say no one, but like we didn't expect them to do this good. To be top 3 day 1, they were cooking. They were cooking. Cams, Daga, and Javi. I believe that was wrong. That was actually
Method Sick
instead
of Javi.
Cams and Daga, I believe,
correct.
right? So that is who was in 4th, and then Wars Vision AJ played very well day 1, and then Rodrigo Matty Zund in 6th, Levi Limac Zeppa in 7th, Dongi believe Intex in 8th, Lucanus Dre Hardtrevs in 9th, Destroy Raul Nate Dog in 10th, Aiden Knight Smitty in 11th, Stuwa Patsuka Enxian in 12th, Krinkz Hamoud Ziz in 13th, and Juki's Lennon and Tommy in 14th. So, boys, Rampage, how did you feel day 1 after we saw everything go down? Kind of explain to me group stages. How did that feel? Tell me what was, after watching day 1, kind of what was going on through your head?
I mean, well, if you're telling me that the number 1 team going into this is their worst day and they're still winning by 10 points is amazing. I mean, obviously they started off a little bit under. I think they were like 7th place for a little bit, but they were able to. This is a team where you can't. They'll come back, bro. They'll come back no matter what. With their maybe 1 or 2 games, and you said that Alman, Noobs, and Schofield playing lights out at 87. Like, oh my, I would expect them to be like number 1. I mean, number 4 team, bro, or like I got intel before going into the tournament that all you have to do is shoot your gun, and so you got the 3 Abwiz, Oki, Prodigy who just like bring in the style because they know how to dress, and on top of that, shoot the guns. But dude, what my biggest surprise honestly was Method Sick, Daga, Team Heretics, because like, bro, they had no practice and they were able to get top 4, which was like my biggest like mind-blowing thing. But on top of that, gotta saw Team Intex, Bali, Dongi. I really thought they were gonna be like top 3 or top 4 without a doubt. So very interested to see how like a lot of teams who did really good online, but it didn't really kind of transition over to when it came to playing online,
Yeah, I mean, look, this squad, I think, if you can go back to that, please, JD. This squad right here, I think there was a couple teams. I think we can all talk about it real fast.
Yeah.
In my opinion, Intex believe Dongi. I expected them to do better first day. And then again, I didn't expect Heretics to do as good. Pretty much saying whatever Rampage just said. Like, just to kind of paint the picture. A Method Sick is Heretics coach. He's a coach for the CDL. And he came out and no one expected him to do this good. First day, like I was like, bro, I was mind blown, right? Obviously, he was an ex-pro. Like he has the skill to be good, right? And it was just mind blowing. And they did pretty damn good. They did pretty damn good. So they kind of surprised me. Mr. Ebatez, talk to me, man. Who kind of surprised you in day 1 of group stages?
I think AB Wiz, Oki, and Prodigy. I mean, I knew that roster was like insanely talented, but I didn't think that they'd be like a top 3 team, especially after day 1. And throughout the whole competition, I feel like they played really, really well. So that team definitely surprised me. I think they were kind of running it up over on their far side, and we'll kind of talk about their struggles in finals later because they had like some unfortunate things that happened, but that's probably a team that surprised me, honestly. In turn, I feel like those guys were frying. Like Oki and Prodigy are demons, and Wiz was playing like a really good anchor, just kind of like keeping control of the map. So those guys were cooking. And then I do want to say like Brett, Joe, and Jace probably are like my biggest like surprise as far as like a team that just didn't perform at all.
Yeah.
Especially after day 1. I mean, I had to shout him out, but like I think Jace had 2 kills in 4 games that day 1, which is like easily the biggest surprise. And I know we've touched on it a little bit, talking about the tournament today is like, we don't know how players will play on LAN. It could be anything like nerves or different setup or whatever. So, he's probably feeling a little bit nervous that first day or whatever happened. 2 kills in 4 games in Resurgence is crazy. I don't even know how that's possible. So, I mean, that's definitely my biggest surprise, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, Krinkz, talk to me, man. What kind of did you feel about these guys? How did you kind of feel going into this? Like, what was your initial thoughts on day 1?
For me, day 1, the biggest surprise was Almond, Noobs, and Schofield. So obviously, we didn't know going into this tournament how they were going to perform, just because we know previous tournaments that they played, they weren't playing the greatest.
Yeah.
They weren't the team that we know that they could be, that caliber team that their names kind of carry as an individual fighters or slayers. So that was the biggest surprise. I was happy that they were able to regain and kind of come back and come second the first day. We didn't know if they're gonna be, first, second. So that was the biggest surprise for me. So I was happy about that. And then the other biggest surprise, as in not doing good, was Huskers, Brolic, and Jacko. Not playing 4 games on LAN. I'm not too sure what happened with that team. I don't know if it was the nerves. I know it was the second time Jacko came to play to LAN. But that was the biggest surprise. I don't know what happened. They were getting contested in mid zone or prison, and they couldn't get the rhythm going. So that was the biggest surprise for me.
Okay.
And then one last real quick was going to Destroy's team. The first day going into this tournament, like the solos, Destroy couldn't play because he was feeling sick. So, and then coming into the second day of the group stages, they got a banger game the first game.
Right.
And which was very surprising because we didn't know if he was going to come back strong or he was just going to lead off to just playing consistent. So.
Okay. To kind of piggyback off that, it's bro, Huskers, Brolic, Jacko. No one expected that.
No one expected that.
No. Definitely not.
I didn't expect that. No one expected them to perform in last place after day one. To go from being so damn good at BR to go and play Resurgence, which I guess I can kind of, if you really think about it, BR is just gun skill. And maybe this team isn't known for having the craziest gun skill. Even then, Huskers is keyboard and mouse. So is Breadman. Those teams performed 18th and 21st going into day one. And so, again, we'll talk about day two. But yeah, man, I don't know. I didn't expect them to do that bad. And so, again, now let's look at day two. Remember, day two was the leaderboard that you're about to see. The top 14 teams qualify. The bottom 7 are out. Dang. And what you're about to see, if you didn't watch, is probably going to shock you. So let's go ahead and look at it, man.
Let me see the difference.
Let's go ahead and look at the day number 2, chat. Day number 2 of group stages. All right, here we go, man. Do the 4-1, bro. The 4-1. All right, so here we go. We have it for day 2 of group stages, guys. We have, before we talk about anything in 1st through 14th, let's look at 15th through 21st, man. Oof. This is one of those things where I'm so surprised to see this happen, man. Breadman, Joe, Jace, 21st. I think they actually placed 20th. Huskers and Joe are flipped. But to see them place 20 and not qual is insane to me, right? Because Joe, technically, Rebirth is where he kind of got his name from, right? Breadman, keyboard and mouse, the best keyboard and mouse player in the world for Warzone. And then Jace, who we consider a top frag in a lot of different tournaments, to place 20th is insane, man. And then Huskers, Brolic, Jackal, brother, they were playing so good in BR to not qualify for finals is insane, bro. Yeah. And then which 19th was actually, guys, Juki's, Lennon, and Tommy. If you would have told me Tommy, at the time, the most winningest player in the world would not qualify for finals, I would say you're bugging. Juki's, Lennon, brother, I don't know, boys. Talk to me, I guess whoever wants to, about just in general, how shocking 15th through 21st was.
Yeah. I can go ahead and start, I guess. But, touching on, Huskers team, Brolic and Jackal are, insanely talented. Those guys are they have really, really good gunny. I feel like maybe they just didn't prepare as well. Obviously, keyboard and mouse is a huge disadvantage, especially on Resurgence. We saw there was 3 keyboard and mouse players at LAN, and all three did not qualify for finals. So it just sucks. I feel like this team has been so consistent, and they've proven a lot of people wrong, including myself, on the big map. And so it sucks that they showed up and just didn't have a great day. But at the end of the day, I just don't think they probably just didn't prepare. Resurgence is different. It's hard. It's not, especially with the best of the best, or I guess technically not the best of the best, but some very talented players in the lobby. Definitely tough. And I feel the same thing for Brett and Joe. I feel like another good team that probably just didn't prepare. They weren't in the scrims. They weren't watching VODs. They were, even when they got over there, I think they were just kind of streaming, just playing pubs, doing whatever. So I feel like those teams just probably didn't prepare. And yeah, to kind of talk about as well what Hector was talking about, Juki's, Lennon, and Tommy. Juki's in general is like one of the best fraggers in the game. I feel like in a resurgence mode, I would love to see him. You know, I think he would be recognized as like one of the best because he could just go ahead and get those kills. Like he's pretty aggressive and just like could have like the freedom to fly. But I don't know necessarily what happened with those teams that, you know, as far as their struggles, because we weren't able to see their POVs individually. But definitely not a team I didn't see qualify. And I thought that they were going to do really well, especially like Tommy being like one of the most earning players in the game. Definitely like a little bit disappointed, but other than that, I mean, I feel like for the most part, not a lot of surprises. I mean, you could say technically EMEA in them, but I also don't think that they're necessarily a resurgence team. I feel like they are very, very disciplined on the big map, and they play a very like solid game and consistent. They're a little bit slower on the big map, but it works for BR. So that's kind of my take on that.
Okay. I mean, Krinkz, thoughts on these 15 through 21st teams?
Yeah, so going to these 21st teams, going to Huskers, Brolic, and Bremen, you know, obviously going with what Ebatez was saying, so that team was not prepared. They didn't have the reps going into the games, playing the scrims. They didn't have any of that. I felt like they were struggling. And again, I feel like Bremen also is not a big fan of Rebirth.
Yeah. And
they usually don't like to play that. I'm not going to go over it too much just because Ebatez just went over them.
Right.
But for me, it was Amir Dark Castillo.
True.
Amir Dark Castillo played kind of the biggest, like I guess, risk in that tournament because they just let their pride aside. They didn't put their pride aside. They just kept going. You know what? No, we're gonna keep landing in the same spot, and they kept getting contested by the Falcons. You know, and if I'm being them, if I'm not winning my initial fights or like even the rotations or trying to even contest them or like it's just like things like that just kind of make you not a good team. You know.
Okay.
It's like not putting your ego aside is like probably the worst thing you could possibly do when it comes to competitive.
Yeah.
Just because you learned the hard way. And they learned the hard way. They weren't able to qualify to the final day. And that was the biggest like come on, like you know better. And I understand that you guys wanted to prove something, but that wasn't the way to do it.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
then moving to
No.
and then moving on to like Juki's, going back to what he said, it was Juki's for me was like the biggest like eyes. My biggest eyes were on Juki's just because I know the slayer that he has and the way he is to being able to play solo. And obviously in Rebirth, it was gonna be more of he's gonna have more of an like a loose end for being forgiven to, you know, die, and then obviously you have your anchors being able to come back, and then you know, just let Juki's do his thing and go run around. But it seems like they were all three struggling in that aspect. I don't think they won an initial gunfight versus Patuca where they were landing. I don't think they won a single one, and that's where they struggled a lot.
Okay. All right, man. I mean, Rampage, just quick thoughts on these guys. I guess who is kind of the most surprising to you to not qual for Sunday or for Championship Saturday?
I think it was more like probably Amir Dark Castillo. Like I feel like I mean, even though they didn't qualify, I feel like I kind of give them props because like there is no other team that was giving. Falcons had the whole stronghold to themselves, you know, and then so they had to rotate into Amir Dark Castillo. It seems like towards the last two games they were able to find their rhythm, but their gap was too deep, and it was not enough to unfortunately qualify them. So, but real quick, like I feel like Huskers, Brawley Jackal, I feel like for them it was kind of they underestimated. I feel like because they were playing in some of the scrims. And we saw Huskers talking about like, oh, what kind of like fly is he gonna be taking? Like, it doesn't seem like they were that serious, you know?
Yeah.
That serious. So I think that kind of like bit them in, you know, like ended up binding them back. Juki's real quick, Lennon, Tommy, they landed with Patuca, and then on top of that, Lucanas is there. Dongi can rotate over. So it seems like where they were, obviously, since nobody wanted to go stronghold, all the teams were focused heavy on prison and all the upwards where they were. So I feel like really bad for that team because if they weren't winning the gunfights off rip, they were getting third partied. So I feel like that's the biggest thing.
All right, man. I mean, look, to kind of summarize this day two, as far as the team that didn't qual, was very, very surprising. Like, I think 4 teams out of the 21 or out of the 7 were so shocking. Like Breadman, Huskers, Dark, and Juki's. That's nuts. I mean, even Boog, StukeX, and Liam. Like, no one expected that. Mojo, Mod, and Nina's. And then Rocket, Clapper, and Zakar. Like, These are the teams. I mean, 7 have to go. I'll be honest, this 7 is not what I expected. Now let's go to the other stages, right?
Okay.
Tenux, Elo, J-Tech. These guys snuck in. Last game was literally intense. Shout out to them, bro. They had an amazing day 2. Lacked a lot in day 1 and then popped off.
Yeah.
And then we got Stuo, Engsin, and Patsuka. Look, I think going into this, right, we really, really were shocked that they were sitting so low. I did not expect Stuo, Engsin, and Patsuka to be sitting at 13th place after day 2. Even they qualified, yes, but they were on the cusp of not qualifying. It was like, oh, if somebody had a banger game, they were done. They were out. Which to me, this is a team that even on BR, we were like, yo, this seems good. Like, this seems a nasty team. I don't know. Boys, what did y'all think about Engsim?
This team for me was like a lock top 4. I feel like even like top 3. Like, these guys are insane. Like, we saw Patsuka the Bazooka, like top fragger for day 1. I mean, I feel like these guys are very disciplined, very quiet, but they're all on the same page. I did expect these guys to, at the least, bare minimum, place top 5. Even after like day 2, I expect them to be like top 3. I mean, so to see them come out and like barely sneak in, I mean, you're only about 6 points away from getting eliminated from the tournament completely. So, which is pretty like scary for a team like this. I feel like they should have been way, way better. But we don't really know what kind of happened. I know they landed on the far side. Maybe it was harder to get kills or whatever. But these guys are insane, and yeah, definitely expected a much more successful tournament out of them.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Anything else, boys?
I
You
mean,
want to add to that?
for me, like, obviously, like the way I like to describe them is like other teams have like a V6 engine, and then Stubo is going to be like a V8 engine. I feel without a doubt they should have been like a top 5 team with their pure slate power, but it goes to show that, I mean, this team is not very, I feel like for me, I haven't really seen them, that they don't really talk much, you know? And like maybe small talk could come a long way into the fights, especially when it's like super fast paced. As soon as you lose one person, and then there's a third party, you're already losing, guaranteed.
Yeah.
So it's very important to be able to communicate and just be able to work with your team, because like sometimes not even the slate power could get you out of those sticky situations. So to see them barely qualify it's very shocking to me, for sure.
Okay. All right, man.
Yeah, I mean, that team for me was very shocking. I mean, another thing with the info that you gave us when you were there, that Patsuka plays on a Bluetooth controller.
Yeah.
Which is the biggest thing. I'm like, what do you mean he plays on a Bluetooth controller on LAN? You know, like there's so much interference on LAN.
Yeah.
So like he's gonna feel the hiccups when it comes to the controller. So like my biggest thing is like why not just switch to a wired controller? Which is, I don't know.
Maybe he's used to the delay or something, but I mean, he also top fragged day 1, so it's like hard to like say anything.
That's what I'm saying.
But,
like he still proved us that he
yeah,
can
it was
top
pretty
frag.
unbelievable. I actually couldn't believe it. I could not believe it when someone told
Which
me,
is
like,
unreal, right? I mean, it is what it is, man. Look, let's kind of go through day 2 really fast, then we'll move on to the finals, because that's the one that matters. Destroy Raul, Nate Dogg in 12th, Lucanus Dre Hartrives in 11th, Rodrigo Matty Zund in 10th, Kams Daga Method Sick in 9th,
Yeah.
Intex Bud Dongi in 8th, Wars Vision AJ 7th, Krims Hamoud and Ziz in 6th, Aiden Smitty Knight in 5th, Alman Noob Skull in 4th, Levi Limax Zeppa in 3rd, Abwiz Oki Prodigy 2nd, and then Diaz, Shifty, and Soka in 1st. Real quick, let's talk about it, man. I mean, they were. Let's talk about the 1st and 2nd place team. Falcons was up 10 points after day 1. They said, yo, we're going to lock in day 2, watch what happens. Soka, before group stages even started, I have it on the vlog. I said, how much are you guys going to be up by after group stages? Soka said 100 points.
Damn.
And sure enough,
On the dot.
they were up 101 points going into the finals. They won group stages by 100 points. Obviously, we all expected for it to be fucking unreal. And we all expected these guys to pot the fuck off going into finals. And we thought it might not even be close in finals. But boy, were we wrong.
No, definitely, bro.
Let's go into finals and the final standings after the last day, day 4 of LAN.
Pullze Check.
There we go. All right. Okay, so this, guys, was your final leaderboard going into EWC.
Oh.
All right? Like, chat, wait, this is wrong.
this is halfway through
Oh, halfway through. Okay.
the finals.
4 games out of 8, chat. This was your leaderboard halfway through the tournament, right?
Wow.
And if you would have told me this is what it looked like, I would have been mind blown. I wouldn't have believed you. I guess let's start off. We're going to go we're gonna go through this I guess somewhat quickly, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about just the elephant here in the room. It's like, bro, Fanatics and Falcons, teams 1 and 2. Alman, Noob, Skullface, 144 points.
Wow.
Diaz, Shifty, Soka, 125 points. Guys, going into halftime, Fanatics was up 20 points on Falcons.
Like this,
Talk
bro.
to me. Talk to me.
Dude.
I mean, yeah, they played incredible. And I think going back to kind of what we were talking about, like Joe's team and like Husker's team and like, you know, some of the teams, maybe Amir's team, like these guys really prepared. And I think we've heard that from Skull when he did his interview during the tournament. These guys obviously did like a boot camp out in London and they were all together and they watched VODs and they were all in a room with a whiteboard, you know, drawing. And I feel like they were really like prepared for anything that came at them. You know, like they knew every team that landed on them, near them, where they rotated, where they bought a loadout. Like they knew everything. These guys were really prepared and they just knew all the little tricks.
Yeah,
so
dude.
They had an incredible first 4 games. I believe they got second game 2, 1 game 3, and 1 game 4. And I know there was some talk. You know, Alman was kind of you know taunting Team Falcons. I heard there was a couple like, you know, come here, like come and get it. Like I'm here. You know, obviously like just like friendly competitive banter. But yeah, I mean those guys were locked in. Like it was good to see. Like finally we know Falcons have been like dominating every single tournament. So to see them like on the biggest stage have like some real competition, it was super exciting.
It was insane. Yeah, I mean, Rampage, after finals, what was going through your head, bro? 4 out of 8 games.
4 out of 8 games.
Obviously, we know the boys are DS Shifty Soka, right? What kind of was going through your head after halftime? Were you nervous?
No, definitely not. I feel like Falcons, like I say, like I feel that team is if you don't close it out, they will, bro. So you can't give them that time to like regain. Obviously, like I want to give mad props to Fnatic because they're playing lights out. So where it made Falcons actually feel the pressure and they have to. That's the biggest thing from what I've seen. It's not that Fnatic slowed down. It was more like Falcons was bringing the fight to them. They started rotating into him. You saw they started going for Alman, bullying him out of the tower, which is like their anchor. And then as soon as that, they were kind of scrambling, going in different spots. And once they died, like it was like very tough. So I feel like they weren't ready for that. They were ready for other teams, but they weren't ready for the power of like the Falcons coming over there. And especially with that economy, bro, like you get knocked here, you got a bunker bus coming at you. So I think that's where like the momentum ended up shifting. And that goes to show like it's never over till it's over. So like obviously like which is amazing, bro. You saw that Soka said that he's glad that Ben did that, bro. He glad he did that because I fueled them to play even like more locked in.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
my props,
bro. That game going into like the last game, I think it was game 4, game 3.
Yeah.
Like Noobs dropped 17 kills, 17 kills by himself to put him over the threshold and not put them into this, you know, 144 to 125 points.
Yeah,
you know,
they had a 62-point kill or 62-point game, I believe. So they were at like 82 before that. Dropped a 62-point game to put them in first. It was absolutely insane.
like they were playing fucking lights out. They played it unreal. My man had 17 kills. I don't think you realize how insane 17 kills is. That is quite literally unfucking heard of. And they popped off. It was like, yo, that was a statement that said, yo, we're here to fucking play. Like, we know we haven't been good online. When it comes to LAN, things are different. And they showed it, man. They showed it. My boy Thanos, Mr. Noobs, went fucking rogue and was up 20 points, man. So let's go back to the leaderboard. And I want to point out something real fast.
Yeah.
Boys, look at the difference in top 3 to everything else. Crinkles.
Yeah.
I mean, you see the gap from 54 points to 119.8 to third place. The gap is huge. And shout out to Aiden Smith and Knight. Those guys were cooking as well going into the halftime of the games. I mean, shout out to them. They were cooking. That was my pick to like kind of for this tournament. That was my pick to have them surprises, like go crazy and be able to bring that power into this. You know, but I mean, Intex Believe and Dongi was kind of like my biggest surprise because you know during the scrims they were getting like top 2, top 3 every single game.
Yeah,
and they had the potential of like getting the kills and being up there with them. So that was my biggest like what's going on, you know?
Yeah. I mean, look, seeing this, man, was like insane to me because I was like, bro, how is it only 3 teams at the top? To be fair, those 3 teams played insane the entire tournament. They played super consistent. They were like top 5 almost every single game. And like, bro, I just want to throw it out there. You know, I know Ebatez was gonna say it, chat. Those top 3, I guess top 4 there, were all North American teams.
Oh,
You know,
damn.
I'm just going to throw it out there. I'm just gonna throw it out there.
Say another weird thing about those top 3 teams is they all land on the same side of the map, which was very surprising. So like somehow all 3 of these teams in 4 games were able to get kills and placement and points all landing on the same side of the map. We obviously saw Smith landing Factory. We know Falcons was going Stronghold, and Fnatic was going Living Quarters. Or sorry, Grandma's house.
Yeah.
Like near the tower. So all 3 of those teams on the same side of the map, somehow sharing kills, somehow getting the points and the placement was really, really surprising. And we'll talk a little bit more too about the final standings because we'll see that as well. But pretty surprising there, honestly.
Yeah, look, that the biggest thing is like I was surprised is like everybody who was on the other side, like, and I know Dongy's in the chat, and and this was my biggest surprise. Is like Intex believe Dongy. They had, I mean this in the most respectful way. They had free teams on their side. Like all the bottom half of the leaderboard was all on the other side. And I was very surprised that they didn't just dominate. Because the team, like all the top teams were on one side and they were just fighting each other. How they even got so many points, I have no idea. But all the right side of the map, all like Dongy, Stuo, Engchen, Patsuka, all these guys were landing on the far right, and I was mind blown that there was nobody in the top 3 that was really cooking. I mean, even then, look at the top 3. The points are crazy. Yeah, I just expected there to be somebody frying on that side of the map, and nobody. It was like they were just trading kills, and nobody was like popping off.
Yeah, I mean, what do you guys think that like is just the point difference to me is just insane. Any top 10, bro. They could just get like 20 kills, and if they happen to get a dub, bro, they'll be shoot up to top 4. So like I don't even know what to think about that. Like the competition from the points right there. Like you think they felt the pressure, or like
I don't know. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was the lack of them getting to end game. But it's clear that after 4 games, there was only 3 teams in contention. For this, right? So let's now go over to the final leaderboard. The final leaderboard after everything's said and done. Look at how things quickly changed. Final standings, guys, for this. Let's take our time here and let's go from 14th all the way up. All right, guys. So in 14th, we had Cam's Daga Method Sick. This is the team. I don't want to say I expected them to do be last or anything like that, but they didn't practice, they didn't play in any scrims, and I know the Method Sick, one of their players doesn't even play Warzone. His main job is to coach the CDL Heretics. So I will say, I think a big contribution of why they placed last was because of them. They fought Falcons, Biffle, Shifty, Soka every single game. That's who they were fighting every single time. And so that might have been the factor of why they play so bad. And so, to be fair, shout out to them. Anybody in this top 14, they made it. They made it to finals, and that's typical in and of itself, right? We have Rodrigo, Maddie, and Zund in 13th place, and I don't know. I expected them to do better. I know Rodrigo's gunny is very good. Side note: Rodrigo beat Shifty in a 1v1 tournament, and so we know he has a good gun skill. Seen them in 13th. Maybe it was like where they were landing, but they were one of the teams that were landing. Kind of central. They were in prison, but the bottom right of prison. So not too sure what happened there. Krinkz, Hamoud, Sizz, 12th place. I know they fought Diaz and them a lot. They were fighting the top 3 teams a lot. We had Destroy Raul, Nate Dogg. We're fighting the top 3 teams a lot as well in 11th. 10x Elo J Tech in 10th, which I'm gonna say that's pretty good for them. They played really, really well. And I think they're one of the teams that people counted out, and they proved that they could hang. Stuo, Patsuka, Engchen. Mind blown to see them at 9th. I expected them to be in contention. And then I guess I'll kind of summarize this and we'll slowly go over top 7. But Intex, Believe, and Dongy, man. In my opinion, a big letdown for me. Because I really did think that this team would be second place. At least second, third, fourth.
With what we had, right? Going into
with the
this
knowledge
tournament.
that we had, right? So, I mean, boys, 8th through 14th, talk to me on what's y'all's thoughts on them?
At least for me, just kind of summary as well. Method Sick, I guess it does. Obviously, they did really good. to a point where like there's no practice for them, so they got they got ran through, bro. They got ran through, and I feel bad because like most of the time what we seen was like they were hovering around the water. That was pretty much like majority of the time. Rodrigo, Matty, Zun. Going back to it, Zun actually beat Soka, you told me, and the Rodrigo beat Shifty. So we know the potential on that team, but it goes to show like the gunny is not always going to win you. Your team fights is going to win you the like majority of the things. So I saw them landing a lot. Like even now they were fighting Warz's team in Central Prison. So every time they were dying, they were just landing. They weren't landing together to try to like recover as a team. But obviously, like I'm looking out for that team in the future because their slate power is looking really good. Hamoud's, man, that was a team that was landing now on green because Dusamir was landing green, and then they ended up being on top where like it's the 10th, and so they were fighting Falcons all the time. So that's where pretty much I'm sure that chalked them. Destroying Raul, Nate Dogg was landing like prison. I feel like they were just bouncing around everywhere on the map, anywhere they could go. One time they went Stronghold to recover. But obviously, who goes Stronghold is going to be Falcon. So, Tanax, Elo, JTech.
I mean, you don't have to go over everybody.
My bad. It's just like my information from what I got. Unless you want me to not.
No, I just wanted to kind of give general thoughts, right? Because like if everybody goes through everything,
my
you know.
bad.
No, you're
so,
good.
I guess the biggest shock, I think on the other leaderboard, Tekka, Dongi, or Intex, Bali, and Dongi were like sitting
Fourth.
up there in the top 4, right?
They're fourth, yeah.
Top 4. So like to see. They were having a lot of struggling fights. I think they got bullied a lot from Lucanus' team. Like they were just going back and forth, and then obviously you got sometimes Twisted Mind, Aiden, Smitty, Nye rotating over to you. So it seemed like they weren't able to get like a solid placement. Like everybody kind of switched up their play styles towards the end, and they were having trouble adapting.
Okay, all right. Krinkz, talk to me. Just general thoughts on 8th through 14th. I mean, I'll shout out a couple things right now, but I just wanted general thoughts of everybody.
General thoughts here. Intex believe Dongi. That was a team that we kind of, going back to what you said, we expected them to be at least top 3, top 4. This is what the knowledge that we had. I did see them fight a lot with Lucanas, Drake, and Hardtrevs. Seems like they were kind of chalking each other's games. That's why they're so close to. I feel like that's why they're so close to each other. 2 points difference. And then another team that we're going to is Abwiz, Oki, and Prodigy. That was a team that was going into the first 2 days. They started off hot, so we saw them top 3 at the first 2 days, and I kind of expected them to do a little bit better because they were landing on the far left side. But it just seems like the rotations that they were taking, it wasn't the best.
Okay.
And another team that we saw was Wars Vision and King AJ. They were very good at controlling the inside of the prison, but they weren't able to capitalize on the final circles. They were always getting caught on rotation or basically not being in the best positioning going into the last 7 zone into that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I want to give a quick shout, man. I mean, I think we all went over who like 8th through 14th, and I think obviously the biggest wow was Intex Dongi Believe.
Yeah.
But I just want to say, like, I know it's at the end of the day, it's 14th to 11th, but Destroy Roll and Nate Dogg started off with 12 points only and then bounced back and had a good second half and got 67 points. I mean, that did earn them a couple extra $1,000, right?
Sure.
But shout out to them, man. Shout out to them. Now let's kind of move on to top 7, man.
Yeah.
Now Lucanus, Dre, and Hardtrevs. These are one of those teams where they all from 5th through 7th, they all did okay. They did okay that day. They didn't do good. They didn't do bad either. 94 points. Lucanus, Dre, Trevs.
Yeah.
I think they won 2 games. I think Lucanus them just struggled with getting kills that day. So not bad of them. Abwiz, Oki, Prodigy. They were in 2nd place, guys, going into the final day. 2nd place in overall group stages, and then ended in 6th place. And so for me, I was like, damn, I really did expect them to be on the cusp of qualing and beat and do really, really good. And to see them in 6th was a little bit of a letdown to me because, it's like we didn't expect them to do good. Then they came to land, did really good. And then finals didn't do the greatest. So,
yeah,
it is what it is, right? Levi, Limax, Zeppa, they were also a team I feel like were struggling consistently. And I think they had a horrible day, but still placing top 5 kind of shows you where that team is at. And I guess, Ebatez, talk to me about that team and what you kind of thought in general, how they performed the whole entire land.
I thought the entire tournament, they were pretty consistent. I will say, They struggled very early on. I think they were one of the teams that got wiped early, like game 1 or 2. And we constantly saw them dying in the kill feed. We were looking at the kill feed on Codcaster, and they were just constantly dying. And somehow they like, even after the first 3 games, they were like still in the top. So super impressed with that team and like their bounce back. I feel like they really had a bad day. Like genuinely, I know they land control center, and the team that was rotating into them was Falcons from Stronghold. And then they were also fighting a couple teams on the boat. So a lot of control in on that map, on that side of the map, and it was kind of hard to control because of all the teams that were there. So I mean, a top 5 finish for them, I feel like wasn't horrible, all things considered. Kind of like Hector said, they were kind of going through the blender. There was like a couple games they were in the super blender. So I think they had like 3 really bad games, and so to finish top 5 was honestly not bad at all from them.
Okay. All right, man. I mean, I'll continue going. Wars Vision AJ. They had, I think, JD, can you go back to the day 1 or sorry, 4 out of 8? Because I think they also bounced back too. Because they ended at 123 and they had a pretty big second half and popped back off. So no, not day 1.
I believe they were in 7th place going into game 5.
4 out of 8 of finals. 4 out of 8 of finals.
They were in like 7th or 8th or
First
6th
quarter.
or 7th. I think they were 7th.
I don't know if we have it there. Were they in 7th? There you go.
6.
Yeah, they were in 6th. So I guess they did have a didn't have a. I don't know. I thought they did better. Or I thought they were doing worse.
Well, they definitely had like a huge turnaround because they're at 41 points.
True.
So I think the next games they had like what?
112, I think.
Yeah,
120 something.
Yeah,
So yeah, you're right. You're
120,
right.
So
They like tripled their points.
yeah.
Right.
Oh,
So I mean, not bad at all. They ended in 4th. That was a team I know Wards got a lot of hate for dropping Louis and
Louis.
Bubble.
Yeah.
And picked up AJ and Vision. And I mean, they played good. They played good, man. 123. I don't think there was going into the last game. They weren't like in contention to win, but they definitely did pop up the third. I mean, now let's talk about Aiden, Smitty, and Knight, man. I'll be the first to say I didn't think Knight would do as good. Yes, chat, I know Knight is a resurgence guy. I get it. Like, right? I understand. Gorgo, can you go back, please? I understand Gorgo is considered like the resurgence god, the resurgence go. And I do think out of every single resurgence play in the world, like resurgence content creator, I do think Gorgo is the best one. And so I thought that it would have been better to keep DJ Moss. For those of you who don't know, Aiden, Smitty, and DJ Moss are a trio going to the World Series. They pretty much dropped DJ for Knight for specifically this tournament.
Yeah.
And I was one of the people that advocated. I think they should have stayed with DJ. But hey, honestly, they proved me wrong. And Knight came out and showed the fuck out.
Yeah.
I didn't think he would play bad. I just thought DJ would play better. But Gorgo really did come out and proved why he is very, very good and why he's known as the Rebirth God. I think, in my opinion, Gorgo, as far as like, he's the best resurgence content creator out there.
Easily.
As far as skill. Like, I don't think there's anybody that comes close. I know y'all will say Capture, all these people.
I think him and Lucky are easily the best.
Gorgo is the best, bro. Gorgo is on top, bro. So, in my opinion, I just didn't think he would perform as good as he did, and he did, man. So, any thoughts on this team, Rampage?
On who are we going off?
Aiden, bro.
Oh, Team Aiden. I mean, going back, bro, like you could kind of see like what teams are like confident and which ones are not. And I would say Team Aiden was like, or Team Twisted Mind was a very confident team. They were playing lights out, bro. Like you said, like I don't really watch Knight much, but the way they were playing together was very amazing, bro. Nobody will go down on that team. Even Aiden, bro. Aiden, who for me sometimes could go a little bit rogue, I would say, but was playing lights out. Just getting that information, the little taps, and then getting like the life ping, playing his life, and then who's there for the cleanup? It's gonna be Gorgo Knight or Smitty. Like I would say that team right there was very amazing because other teams they will have one anchor, you know, but this team they were all running together, but they were just like feeding off each other, and then like whenever they had to disengage, it was spectacular. I would say if you guys want to learn how to team fight, this is the team to watch for sure.
Yeah, that I think just a side note for that, guys. Based off what Rampage said, they were probably one of the only teams that didn't have one person playing solo hiding. They were all three running together every single time, and they made it to endgame every single game. So huge shout out to Aiden, Smitty, and Knight, man. They played phenomenal, bro. Now let's kind of get into the top 2 teams, bro. guys, the leaderboard going into the final game was actually insane. I believe Falcons were up like
9 points.
9 points going into the final game, and this was unreal, bro. Shifty waited. Shifty pulled his chute, jumped out of the plane, and waited to see where Almond, Noobs, and Skull would land. He knows where they land, and he saw them, and then played for them.
Yeah.
And it was fucking unreal, the plays that they made. They knocked Almond from the tower. They ended up full killing him. And then it turned into an all-out brawl. And sure enough, Falcons ended up wiping Fnatic to win the entire tournament, bro. It was literally, you could not have scripted a better tournament.
Dude.
It was fucking insane, man. Almond, Noobs, Skullface, I want to give a huge shout out to them. They played insane. We have never seen anybody push these guys, Falcons, to push them this hard. And Fnatic did.
Yeah.
And I want to say that was genuinely, and I think all the viewers can say they agree to this, hats off to them because they made that tournament so damn entertaining.
Yeah, it was-
so damn entertaining, bro.
Wow.
To be up 25 points going into halftime, and then somehow they brought it back and won by 20 points, tippable. I mean, go ahead if you, Ebatez, if you want to talk about Falcons. I mean, sorry, Fnatic. Fnatic.
I mean, not much more to say other than what you covered. I mean, obviously it was a great event, like through and through. But that final day was like something was just like exciting about that whole 8 games because it was like very fast paced. Everybody was keeping it close. There was like a lot of just like pressure. You saw some teams fold. You saw some teams rise.
Yeah.
And I feel like in general, like it was just a great event. Obviously, them keeping it close and kind of giving them Falcons like a run for their money was probably the best part about it because we got to see like going into that last game, we really didn't know who was going to win. So overall, just an amazing event because of like that final day.
Yeah, I mean, Krinkz, I guess, bro, again, huge shout out to Fanatics, man. They played phenomenal. They playing horrible online and then went to LAN and played fucking amazing, right? So now, Krinkz, talk to me on Falcons and kind of what you thought after seeing this, bro. After the last game and all that stuff, obviously they were the favorite to win and they won it, but definitely not a clean sweep. And definitely Fanatics made them work for it.
Yeah, Fanatics definitely made them work for it, and that's something that we like to see, right? Because what we saw in the second day, it was a clean sweep from Falcons. They just completely dominated the whole lobby. I think they won every single
games,
map.
bro.
So going into this grand finals they kind of got tested. You know, I know a couple players like D weren't feeling the best. We didn't know if he was going to be performing to the high level that he usually does. We did see actually not him losing any gunfights this tournament. Like we saw him kind of playing to that level, but could have played better if he felt better. We saw Shifty playing out of his mind, playing his angles perfectly. We saw Soka playing probably the best he's ever played as an anchor, making the plays to be able to get his team back whenever he was in a situation when he was the last one alive. He made the play to just instantly play for the buybacks and not even worry about his life, but get him back and to stay in the game. You know, that team just has so much potential when it comes to, you know, staying in the game and providing the ability of coming back and still being able to win the game. I remember seeing I think it was Shifty and D that were able to complete a win just by them two. I think we saw a couple games like that. And then the last game we saw Soka coming in. He said before he went to the buy station, boys, we're winning this right now and we're finishing it off.
Yeah.
And you know, it's something like those little things that you see about Team Falcon, that, you know, the confidence that they have coming in and, you know, making sure that they're going to close it out.
Yeah, I mean, look, bro, I'll say this, man. I think this set up a great storyline for World Series of Warzone because all of them, they still haven't even qualified for World Series, right? Which we'll talk about it in the next segment of the show. They haven't even qualified yet for World Series, but if they do, which I think they will, this shows, when Fnatic is playing at the top of their abilities, there is a team that could potentially give them a run for the money. It's BR, so things are a little bit different, but Almond, Noob, Skull, they perform just as good on Resurgence as they do on BR. And I mean, they just won a tournament we played today. And so, I don't know, man, to kind of summarize this.
Can I give my take?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, so I mean, I could be absolutely off the Papania right now, but I think personally, bro, I think Fnatic would have won if Falcons didn't step in. I feel like the pace they were having was like absolutely really solid. I think where like this is why I go back to Falcons, bro. Like they adapt, bro. They freaking adapt, and because I'm telling you guys, what happens whenever you kill an anchor, you like that really like slows down the momentum. Players can't really go out there and slay because obviously like your anchor's dead. That's your safety net, you know. So that really slowed them down heavy. And on top of that, if they're trying to they could potentially rotate into another team and just get wiped out. So I would say like Falcons really like I'm telling you, like they felt the pressure and they went for them, bro. And then they weren't getting as many kills. And on top of that, they were able to, what did they do in the dominant fashion, bro? They won the last game. So that's my personal opinion. Like I think that's what kind of what made the momentum shift.
Yeah. I mean, look, bro, this team, again, to summarize everything, is arguably the best team right now in the world. And it's no questions. If you disagree, I don't know what you've been watching the last couple months. But I will say this quote unquote dynasty, whatever it is that they're starting, right? I don't know who can beat them right now, right? If anything, Fanatics is up there. And I mean, they had it. They were up 20 points and the lead slipped from them, you know? So going into World Series, I really am excited to see them go at it again. I hope Fanatics quals for LAN and we can see a bang one, obviously, with Enkyo on them as well. World Series of Warzone should be insane, man. So again, hats off to the boys, Falcons. They proved that they are the best right now. And so we'll see, man. But let's kind of give our thoughts, boys, on I guess Ebatez and I on Riyadh and the entire World Series of Wars. The entire Esports World Cup, and to kind of what? I just went over that. It's not like, it's whatever. Like, it's not a whole segment. It's just like whatever. All right. So let's just kind of go over the overall summary of Esports World Cup, man, and kind of give you guys our genuine like experience, right? So I guess Ebatez and I, we went, and I'll say this, man. This was the craziest event I've ever been to. This was the most insane, from, the catering to having food every day, unlimited food that you could eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, to having, rooms to practice in. Everybody got their own hotel room, plus an extra hotel room where they each had 3 setups and had their practice room whenever they wanted to practice, to having a lounge where you could go, unlimited snacks, hockey tables, ping pong tables, PS5s, everything you could think of. Like, it was genuinely the most insane experience. Honestly, for me, the best trip I've ever been on. One of the best. It just, the hospitality from everybody there, genuinely the nicest people I ever met. That's kind of my take, man. It was genuinely so damn fun, so damn amazing, and I cannot wait for next year.
I think
the
attention to detail that that whole event has brought is insane. I mean, you get in the elevator, and on the mirrors in the elevators, Esports World Cup branded. The elevator doors, they close, there's Esports World Cup branded. You go up the escalator in the hotel, Esports World Cup branded. Dang. I mean, literally everything. They have giant LED monitors, or they're it's like a giant wall that's like a LED sign that's Esports World Cup. I mean, from just the littlest things, like even the shuttles you're driving, you driving from the hotel to the event, you see Esports World Cup banners throughout the city. Just the attention of detail that that event put together was unbelievable. And obviously Hector talked about the food was amazing, the hospitality. I mean, dude, they went so above and beyond for everybody. It unbelievable. It is going to be so hard to top that quality of production, that quality of an event for anything else that we'll ever experience. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's I know people are World Series Warzone got to step it up. There's absolutely no way that we will ever see an event like that that's not in Saudi. You know what I mean?
I personally, I don't think that's a bad thing, right? I don't think I think it has to be known that Esports World Cup, arguably unlimited. They can do whatever they want.
Right.
Quite literally, right? That's not the case for World Series of Warzone, which is okay. That's fine.
It is totally
fine. I don't think it's one of those things where they need to compete against each other. No, like, bro, the scene is thriving, and that's what really matters. Everybody is excited. Everybody's happy about Warzone. Like, the Resurgence people are happy. The BR people are happy. Like, I really do hope that next year they can work on the format and maybe change things up, maybe make it actual qualifiers. I know a lot of the other esports that competed, the 22, whatever, esports 21, they had qualifiers. I would hope that next year there's qualifiers for this, and I hope that they can just improve off it, man. But again, I cannot stop speaking so highly about Esports World Cup, and it was genuinely so damn fun. And again, I hope we will be releasing a vlog on it soon. You guys can tell how fun it was, and just they took care of everybody, took care of all the players, and was genuinely just an amazing experience from the production to everything. And I don't know, I wouldn't have it any other way. And so, boys, I hope y'all can come next year, because that was genuinely an experience of a lifetime. And they did say they want to do it every year for like the next 10 years. You never know what can happen, but I hope this is a staple and this becomes a thing every single year from here on out.
Yeah.
You know, so
I think even for me, bro, like as a viewer experience, like,
talk to me how it was from viewers.
It was amazing, bro. Like the production, I was like, God damn, bro. Whether it be like the ramp that the teams are just announcing and just like everything, bro. Like, I don't know how they gotta have like a NASA PC or something, bro.
Right.
I don't know how they were able to do that whole 3D. They had a player model. Like, damn. I mean, I don't know. Like, obviously you can't see that in person, or maybe they're doing it, but like what I'm hearing is just like, it sounds like gamer heaven, bro.
What's cool is that they have that whole event set up for the next 2 months, which is why they were able to like fully send the production and like high quality. It's not just for a weekend or like, you know, a day. Like,
there's 21 games being played.
They can literally commit to like, yo, we're going to be using this space for the next 2 months and maybe even next year. You know, obviously like it might stay there. So they're like, let's just full send it. And like, I think that's why the quality of everything was just so unbelievable, because they're, you know, obviously just investing in the future.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'll say this. Like, I know Donkey just said he wished that players could have individually streamed. I want to really quick talk about that, because I know a lot of people were saying that this was something that they were upset about, which I completely understand. But I want you guys, and I talked about it a little bit earlier on stream, but I want everybody to really understand why this is the thing, right? Every other esport, nobody can stream. Like, I'm sure there's maybe a couple, but for the majority, nobody can stream their individual POVs. It's all one main broadcast. And the reason that is because to produce something of this caliber and to like, there needs to be sponsors. And to get sponsors, you need to have analytics and numbers to tell you, hey, this is worth us sponsoring this event. This is worth us throwing the money at. So when you have 100 people, whatever, 50 people all streaming, the numbers get scattered throughout like 50 different people. As opposed to one main broadcast, you can show them, hey, look, this is how many viewers we had for this, right? So that is why it's on a main broadcast, and that is why the majority of the time, like esports is all streamed to one main broadcast, because they have to justify the cost to these companies that are sponsoring these things, right? So I will say for World Series Warzone, it's different, because in World Series Warzone, they don't need sponsors. That is Activision funded. That's not, they don't have sponsors funding that. So that's why they allow teams to, everybody gets to stream, and why there's 100 dual PC setups everywhere, right? Like, it makes sense. So just a little bit of clarification of why that is, and to show like of why that'll probably continue to be a thing. And I mean, I understand, I get it's great. Everybody gets to stream their individual PVs, but for the longevity of the competitive scene, the biggest thing is sponsors, and sponsors need to be included for things to continue to move forward, right? So I think it's great if there's a world where Esports World Cup has, you know, Resurgence and it's one main broadcast. That's fine. And then World Series Warzone has BR and everybody gets to stream. You get a taste of both, man. And I think it's great, man. At the end of the day, to kind of summarize, Esports World Cup was amazing, and I hope it continues to be a thing and a staple that happens every single year, you know? So, no, man. I guess now, boys, let's kind of move on to the next and the last section of the podcast. Let's go over Last Chance Qualifiers.
No,
all
bro,
right?
don't do that to me.
World Series of Warzone is back, baby. We have Last Chance Qualifiers on Thursday and a Friday of this week. Depending on when this goes live, I'm assuming tomorrow. Technically, tomorrow would be when Last Chance Qualifiers go live. So, boys, before we begin diving in, how are we feeling going into Last Chance Quals?
I'm super stoked. I mean, dude, like, obviously, had a great time in Saudi, but now we can focus on, I feel like, what is like the bread and butter of competitive Warzone, which is big map, and especially World Series of Warzone. This means a lot more. You know, there's a lot more respect. There's a lot more credibility to World Series of Warzone, and that is super exciting. And we have some shooters that are in both EMEA and the NA LCQs. So I think like this next week is going to be genuinely insane, and like it puts a smile on my face. Like I'm so excited. This is why I watch competitive Warzone. This is why I'm so involved in it, because of like weeks like this where we get to see absolute madness. Like this is the best part. LCQ is the best part about online qualifiers. The best part. So we are so lucky as like Call of Duty fans, Call of Duty viewers, competitive like Warzone viewers. So I'm super excited, man.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Go ahead, Rampage. Talk to me.
Man, dude, I don't even know where to get started, bro. Obviously, like it's another thing where like I love watching grand finals. Grand finals is my dope, but also like LCQ is like one of my other favorite. Like, bro, anything can happen. This is where like the storylines is very crazy, bro. Because obviously you got dudes very upsets where there's some great teams that made it to LCQ. So, and there's only 4 spots that are gonna do it, and then on top of that, with the bonus of the wild card, bro, like we saw how hectic things are, bro. I'm not kidding, bro. We might like 80 people, 6 circle or something. Especially, I'm praying the downtown like circle where we're gonna see a lot of teams. But man, I don't know. Like, it's not only gonna be for the top teams. I feel like there's gonna be other teams who are out there probably grinding. They're like, okay, you know, we watch the watch parties, we watch Call of Duty. Like, what can we do to guarantee that we get a spot? So there is going to be obviously some highs, obviously the teams that we're rooting for, but at the same time, there's going to be some upsets and there's going to be some heartbreaks. So obviously the LCQ is the most memorable for me, because you see like that big storyline for somebody like an underhorse. I'm always rooting for an underhorse. And then after, like I said, like that is your dream, you know, that was your last chance to qualify. And it's, for me, that's my biggest heartbreak.
Okay. All right, Mr. Krinkz.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm excited for this LCQ because if you were to tell me we have the teams that we have in this LCQ, I wouldn't believe you.
I would not. Yeah,
never.
I know there's gonna be people that have not kept up with the World Series Warzone being like, well, are we playing? You know, what are we playing? LCQ. They're gonna be surprised that these teams are there. Like it's this LCQ is probably the biggest. Like either we're gonna have the biggest upsets, or, you know, we're gonna see them go to LAN, which is like, I'm excited to see the teams if they're prepared for the LCQ and if they're ready to go to LAN.
Okay, I mean, look, bro, let's kind of, for those of y'all who don't know, let me kind of explain what's going on, right? So pretty much we started off with how many teams, bro?
I want to say like 10,000 or something.
We
like
started
crazy.
with the thousands and thousands of teams, and it's dwindled down to now we have 12 teams that qualified already. And pretty much the only thing left to be played is last chance qualifiers. So if you didn't qualify through finals and you placed out of the top 12, you got automatically sent down to last chance quals. And so let me kind of explain the format and kind of what's going to go down and how this is all going to work, right? The way this is going to work is there is 40 teams going at it on Thursday and on Friday. There is only 6 games being played, right? The first 5 games, there will be a tournament, right? First 5 games, the top 4 teams after 5 games qualify to LAN. Then there's one final game of trio YOLO, pretty much winner take all. It don't matter how many kills you get. It don't matter how many points you had in the first 5 games. If you win the last game, you go to LAN. And when I say it is the most intense game in the entire year, I mean it. It is unreal. It is so action-packed. And I promise you, this Thursday and this Friday is going to be fucking insane, man. That is kind of the gist of what's going on. And let's kind of take a look at what's going down and the teams kind of competing, bro. So, JD, if you can bring up the teams competing in LCQ, that'd be awesome, so we can kind of see and show stream. Because, wow, man, wow. It is going to be insane. So, last chance for EMEA, guys. That is on Friday. All right? So here we go. This is the last chance quals team from EMEA, and we won't go through every single one. But this is 13th through
24th,
40th, and then 34th.
Oh,
right?
yeah, 34th.
34th or 30. 33rd?
It might be 30.
No, it's 13 through 40th.
Right.
And then the 32nd of the other one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
got you.
I guess I won't sit here and dabble too much on this and tell you guys, but I guess the big names to watch out for that did not qual. Zach, Hollow, Eisen. Robstar, Vortex, Blade. Bodzi, Rakes, Aaron. I would say Juki's Lennon, FIFA. Scoffology, Rafix, and Marcus. Boogs, Liam, Stukex. Rocket, Clapper, Zakar, Turtle, Bonzo, Skinner. Let's see. Walker, Ben, Benzi. Groovy, Jamabino. Control, Quicker, Petey. Shucks, Lipton, Decky.
Nova, Abwiz.
Abwiz, Master 5K, and Nova. Novak. Which is crazy to see Abwiz to get second to last place at finals, which is nuts.
Also, there are going to be like a lot of rosters that, well, maybe not a lot of rosters, but there are some rosters that will change, and we'll have that, I'm sure, that final list by the day of like LCQ. I believe rosters don't lock until tomorrow at midnight for EMEA.
Can you explain what the potential could happen? Somebody could do this?
Yeah, so potentially every roster that is a part of LCQ, 2 people can stay and they can drop a third. And since rosters don't lock until tomorrow night, teams could drop somebody super last minute and pick up somebody else, and that third that gets dropped could, potentially just get screwed out of being on a team because they don't have time to find another one. So I don't know, or I hope we don't see anybody kind of getting screwed last minute, but it is very, very possible that we do see some teammates get dropped last minute and they get sent out of World Series Warzone as a whole.
Yeah. I mean, look, let's go, boys, over. Let's see who our picks are.
Sure.
Who our picks? I think 4. Let's do. You know what? Let's do this.
Okay.
Who are 2 teams that you think guaranteed to qual? I think that's good. And then 1 team who you think would win the trio YOLO, so that way we can come back and look at this after.
Okay.
Right.
Sounds
so, I guess I'll go first. In my opinion, I think 2 teams that are guaranteed to qual, no matter what. Juki's Lennon FIFA. And I don't, maybe because of experience, I'm going to say Robstar, Vortex, Blade. Those are my 2.
Bro.
Those are my 2.
Oh,
Boys.
man.
I'm gonna say the same exact. I was gonna say those 2 teams for
Dude,
EMEA.
I mean, that's the guarantee.
You can say the same ones.
No,
that's
that's
fine.
a guarantee too. I'm be honest. Those are very, very solid.
Okay.
I think Juki's Lennon, FIFA, and hey, it's Aaron, Rakes, and Bodzi.
Okay.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
I like that. Now, here we go, boys. Who do you guys think is going to win the trio YOLO?
Ooh.
In my opinion, I'm gonna throw this out there. Scroll down, please. Where are they?
Think.
There you go. All right. My team to win the trio YOLO will be Decky, Shucks, and Lipton. That is the team that I think will win the trio YOLO.
This team actually split 3 ways, so they're not even a team anymore.
What?
Yeah, all 3 of them decided to go their own way, unless they drop Shucks. But I heard initially,
Wait, I thought they have to stay as 2.
initially, if you all 3 leave, they give away your spot, but you can join a team. So that was their initial plan.
That's an insane risk.
That was their initial plan. So I don't know, but I do know that Shucks is looking for a roster. So I don't know if they decided to keep their spot and just stay as a duo.
Bro, every time you're picking, bro, you're like, oh, Swag is leaving, bro.
Sorry, yeah.
Okay, no, that's great. Okay, boys, tell me, who is y'all's then?
I'm picking Rocket, Clapper, and Zakar.
That's a good one. I mean, obviously they competed in the Saudi,
EWC.
right?
Yeah.
So that's a good one right there.
For me, it's gonna be Vidat, Chow, and Ronto.
Okay, hey, I love that. I like that.
Can we scroll up a little bit? Sorry. Let's see. Dude, honestly, bro, I think because they were doing really good in like groups and everything, they slowed down. I think I'm gonna go for the German team Scoffology, bro.
Okay.
Marcus and Riff.
I could see that.
That's a good pick. That's a good pick. I like that.
I feel like they got the experience and they showed that they were dominating, and like to see them down here is like baffling. So I could see them winning the last chance.
Okay.
Sure.
All right, man. Look, those are our picks for the last chance quals. But I guess to kind of summarize, man, is look, I think to kind of close off is Juki's Lennon and FIFA should not be here.
Nope.
They should not. Today there was a tournament and they placed 11th. They have to place top 4 in Friday's tournament. And yes, you're right. Today's tournament definitely had more competition, but even then, the fact that they placed 11th is not a good sign going into last chance quals. I don't think this team should be here. And I'm going to be honest, I don't think they're performing at the top of their abilities. They are a team that should be a top 5 team in every tournament they enter. And you're right, they are playing off ping in the Total Frenzies, right? But so is Enkyo, Gramalok, and Heeds. And they're placing top 3. So there really is no excuse, right?
Damn.
In my opinion, I don't know what's going to go down. I think there is a world where they don't qual because they aren't looking the best right now. And I am scared for them. They are great players individually, but something isn't working right now. And we're going to find out on Friday whether they are able to ice up and clutch up.
Yeah,
So
man.
that is, in summary, the EMEA Last Chance Quals, guys. Now,
Wow.
let's go ahead and move over to the North America Last Chance Quals.
Oh,
right.
man.
Dang.
I don't know.
This one is going to be very, very interesting. The same way how EMEA had some teams that we did not expect to be in there, so does North America, right? Now, let's get into it, guys. If anything, there is a lot more teams in North America that we expected to be in, and they're not.
Yeah.
JD, can you please show us?
I'd say like probably the biggest upsets.
All right, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna show you guys some team names that we are mind blown that they're in, and it's just fucking insane. And so we're gonna do Rated Prospect Mayapu, Vonbot Devo Shero, Exact Sitrep Sneely, Tommy Teeny Ops, Assault Clutch Belk Lovey, Believe Intex Mutex.
Wow.
Completely forgot.
Yep. Skullface, Noobs, Alvin, probably the biggest surprise out of any other team. Attract, Colors, Rias. Let me see.
Hello,
Mario Fried Clown, Picnic, Oakboy, Scripto, which is now Picnic, Oakboy, and Rida.
Right.
Twitty Fades, Tappa, Fallnets, Nico Swish, Colony, Waldo, Nicole, Willie Teed, UAVs, Magoo. Oh my God, this is going to be insane. This is on Thursday, chat, Thursday. Green Doze, your boy Freddy. I don't know which one, but one of them got replaced for Stable J, which is Destroy's brother.
I
I think
believe
it's Freddy.
Yeah.
Freddy? Okay.
Might be G-Boy.
Reed Boy, OP Marked, and Shaded Step, chat. So
Dude.
these are the teams that are, and we are missing a couple, by the way, JD, which we probably talk about it after. Yeah, these are kind of the top teams. I guess I'll kind of say it first and foremost. I'll say the same way I was hard on FIFA, landing Jukis. I'll say it again. Yo, Fanatics, Skullface, Almond, Noobs should not be here. They're too damn good of a team to be playing this poorly online. I will say, if we didn't go to EWC and they didn't perform the way they did, I'd be very, very concerned. The way they've been playing lately, they are playing lights fucking out. Lights fucking out. And yeah, they are playing really, really good. I do see them as like they should qual. But in general, yeah, that's my team. These are the teams that are very good. And we're very surprised to see them in the Last Chance quals. Again, only 4 teams qual from the first 5 games. And then there's 1 solo YOLO. Boys, I would ask, who are y'all surprised to be here? But I think everybody agrees the same team.
Yeah, it's
So
the same
team.
I guess the question I'll ask is, who are 2 guaranteed teams from Last Chance quals that you guys expect to 1,000% qualify going into go to LAN?
I believe Rated's team and Skullface's team.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Those are solid, bro. Those are
those
solid.
are very easy picks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's definitely my pick as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all agree on that. We all agree. Rated 13th. They were literally first losers. They were right off the cusp of qualing, and then obviously Skullface then would place 24th, which is fucking wild to me.
What?
Crazy.
But even then, Rated Prospect Mayapu, they're too damn good to not be playing.
Yeah.
And again, anything can happen. They have 5 games to prove that they deserve to go to LAN, and then 1 solo YOLO. Anything can happen. On paper, teams can be good. Some teams can go crazy.
Yeah.
And just qual. So, man, I'll say this, bro.
Yeah.
If there's a world where Skull, Almond, Noobs don't qual, or Rated Mayapu and Prospect don't qual, I will be genuinely sad, because those teams are fucking good
Very
and
talented.
they should go.
Those are 2.
So if you guys ever see this, lock it the fuck in, because it's embarrassing to see y'all here. You guys are way better than that. All right, that's kind of what I'll close off. I'll close off with that. And boys,
Bro, there's a lot of good teams that could win the wild card.
there
bro.
is.
There's
a lot of good teams that could fucking place top 4.
that we know that have like they kind of like their teams is known to like always win games. So you're dumb, but Mutex and also OP Marked. You saw Ryder in there, right, bro? Like those are the top 3 that I'm looking at. That's only one spot.
So look. Like we know it's gonna go down to the wire. Thursday and Friday are going to be fucking wild. Oof. So let's go into who we think. Let's say they don't qual.
Yeah.
Off the first 5 games. Who wins the solo YOLO? And I'm gonna start it off because I know y'all gonna take it. Oak Boy, Picnic,
Okay.
Ryder.
Okay.
If they don't qual in the first 5 games and it goes down to the last game, Picnic, Oak Boy, and Ryder is my pick to qualify through the trio YOLO.
Okay.
I'm gonna go accept Rudy and Sunny.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a good one, chat.
Bro, for me, bro, tradition. I know my boy. Now I'm looking out for Felnitz, Nico, and
Yeah.
Swisham, bro. Every time.
Okay, I like that.
We seen, dude, they were, I think they literally won the last game of the last year.
Yeah.
And they were able to qualify with Crowder. So,
Imagine Nico went back to back.
bro,
That
come
would be
on,
crazy.
man.
That would be insane.
Yeah, I know my boy Nico gonna clutch
Okay.
up, bro. I know he gonna clutch up, bro.
Okay.
For me, it's going
Krinkz.
to be Willie Teed, UFs, and Magoo.
Ooh, that's a good pick
Ooh,
too.
that's a good one. That's a great pick.
Wow, I'm surprised
Okay.
nobody picked like.
We all had
Moo-
great picks.
Yeah, nobody really picked Mumu or OP Marked. Interesting.
Any reason why?
I think Mutex. Oh, for what?
Like
Why-
why
why
them?
me?
Yeah.
We saw him a lot in the towards the end game, and I know that they used to play with youngsters, and I feel like youngsters used to be like the IGO, like kind of co-IGO with them, but I do see UFs and Magoo coming in clutch and just like kind of locking in that end game position.
Okay.
Yeah, dude.
All right. I mean, look,
Bro.
chat.
Sorry, I just saw Colony watch well done Nickel.
Yeah. That's a team I see qualifying. I
Yo.
think
They should. They should.
I think they sneak into the 3rd or 4th spot.
So look, man, I mean, guys, to kind of wrap up the podcast, this week is going to be insane. World Series of Warzone is back and on Thursday and Friday. Let's kind of go over the schedule going forward, and we'll kind of tell you guys kind of what's going to happen, right? JD, I don't know if there's a graphic, but not, I'll just say it. But yes, guys, the schedule for this week or for World Series of Warzone is as follows, chat. We have Thursday at 12 noon Central Standard Time, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time is the North America Last Chance Quals. That's Thursday. Again, 12 noon Central Standard Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, right? Chat. Then Friday, EMEA Last Chance Qualifiers, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. That for both times, 6 p.m. BST, guys. That will be Thursday and Friday, right? Make sure to lock in. It's going to be an insane fucking 2 days. I'm so ready. Tomorrow, we will have scrims for North America, scrims, or just in general, all scrims. It doesn't matter whether you're North America or EU. But at 2 p.m. Central, we'll be having the scrims. Saturday, off day, and then Sunday. I'm going to say this again. JD, if you want to post it on Twitter, it's all good. I don't care. Listen, chat. You guys will hear more from me soon. But I told you guys that we will always try to involve the community in everything. And I started off, and all this that we did, chat, everything that we've accomplished started from an open qualifier tournament, right? If you are a competitor and you guys always say that you wish you got invites or you wish there was qualifiers for big tournaments, be ready Sunday.
Damn.
Be ready Sunday. I'll leave it at that. If you feel you can compete with the best of them and you say you just need an opportunity, well, you better be fucking prepared. Sunday, we'll lock in. Hey, if you don't have a trio, get your trio ready. All right?
Woo.
get your trio ready.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
man. So, guys, that is the schedule for the week, and I hope you guys are ready, man. That concludes today's podcast. Boys, as always, appreciate you guys being here. Appreciate y'all giving your insight, man. And those of you at home, I hope you guys are excited. I hope you guys are ready for an insane week of watch parties and just in general. It's going to be amazing, man.
Yeah.
We have World Series of Warzone projected to be mid-September like last year. That's about 2 months out. There's going to be a lot of practice scrims, a lot of things going down on Twitch. So if you guys want to tune in, twitch.tv/repulse, twitch.tv/Baca twitch.tv/Krinkz, twitch.tv/Ebatez. Guys, we will be doing watch parties for every single scrim, every single event, as always, man. So guys, thank you guys so much for everything. We love you guys. We appreciate you guys. And we'll catch you guys on the next podcast, baby. Peace, peace, peace.
Bye.